Communities in the Upper South Island are on edge as more heavy rains expected later this week. A local state of emergency remains in place for Tasman, Nelson and Marlborough, where more than 300 millimetres of rain has fallen since Friday. Almost 50 roads are closed, including parts of State Highway 6 in and around Nelson. Emergency Management Minister Mark Mitchell says the areas are preparing for more rain on Thursday. He says police, fire and emergency and other local leaders have started planning to deal with the front if it comes through. The government's proposing increased penalties for assaults against on-duty first responders and prison officers. Intentionally injuring an officer or responder could carry a maximum sentence of 7 years imprisonment. Corrections Association President Floyd du Plessis says the number of assaults is increasing along with prison population and there's little deterrent. Concern as speed limits increase on roads across the country from the end of today. Roads that were subject to speed reviews from January 2020 and had their limits reduced will be increased to their original limit. That will apply to 43 sections of state highway and local roads as well, with more than 1,500 changes in Auckland alone. Brake Director Carolyn Perry says it's demoralising.
Particularly in a lot of places where communities had campaigned for a long time to get a lower speed limit to make it safer in their community.
Fears people will be turned away from help after a reduction in youth service provider funding. Oranga Tamariki funded 10 youth one-stop shops in the 2024 financial year, which has been trimmed down to 7. Canterbury-based service Te Tahi Youth was one of the ones cut. The youth development leader, Gary Grooms, says they're being left with less as needs are increasing.
That contract for us funded our frontline youth workers and social workers, people who build trust with the vulnerable young people who are accessing our services, especially those coming out of care.
Property managers are planning to drop clients refusing to meet healthy home standards. The rental property regulations come into force tomorrow, with rules for heating, insulation, ventilation and moisture. Landlords can be fined more than $7,000 for non-compliance. Aspire Property Management's Mike Atkinson says landlords are being asked to collect their keys if they don't make changes. British Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer and Glastonbury organisers are condemning UK punk duo Bob Dylan over their controversial comments about the war in Gaza. The duo led chants of Free Palestine and Death to the IDF.